In this lecture, we will discuss William Shakespeare's romances and minor plays. So let's start today's topic. First of all, we will discuss one of his famous problem plays. Actually, William Shakespeare has written three problem plays. One is Measure for Measure, and the second is All's Well That Ends Well, and the third is Troilus and Cressida. So these are the three problem plays written by William Shakespeare. So problem plays are those plays which deal with a moral problem. So they are called problem plays. So you must remember, William Shakespeare has written three problem plays: Measure for Measure, All's Well That Ends Well, and Troilus and Cressida. It is a problem play. Anastic Coleridge, who is one of the famous writers belonging to the Romantic age, he criticized this play and he called this play a hateful work. The play is set in Vienna. Vienna is a city which is situated in Italy. So the setting of this play is in Vienna, Italy. And through this play, William Shakespeare, he attacks hypocrisy. Now, there are two tricks here, as William Shakespeare is quite famous for his scenes. So similarly, this play is quite famous for two tricks. One is the bad trick, second is the head trick. So I will discuss bad trick and head trick later on when I talk about the story. There is a very famous quote here: "Oh, it's excellent to have giant power, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant." It's not like. Here the word is like, L-I-K-E. Oh, it's excellent to have giant power, but it is tyrannous to use it like, L-I-K-E, like a giant. So what is the meaning of this quote? The meaning of this quote is that if somebody is powerful, that's good thing. Here, powerful doesn't stand for only the power of the body. Here, power stands for the power of the position. For example, the king is powerful. So according to William Shakespeare, it's good if somebody has power, but that person must not use power in a wrong way. But it is tyrannous. Tyrannous means wrong. It is cruel to use it like a giant. Giant, do you know? Monster. So according to William Shakespeare, it's good if somebody has power, if somebody is powerful due to his wealth, due to his position, due to his body, but that person must not make wrong use of that power. That person must not use his power to exploit the poor people. Rather, he should use his power to help the people. So that's a wonderful quote. Now I will talk about the important characters and the story in brief. First character is Vincencio, who is the Duke of Vienna, who is the King of Vienna. But later on, he disguises himself as a beggar, and he gives himself the name of Friar Lodowick. So you know that in William Shakespeare's play, disguise is an important element. As in Twelfth Night, the central character, Viola, she takes the disguise of a boy, Cesario. Then in William Shakespeare play, Rosalind, she takes the form of a boy, Ganymede. Clear? So it quite happens similarly in The Merchant of Venice, the heroine Portia, she takes the form of a lawyer, Balthazar. So in this play, Vincencio, he takes the form of a beggar, and the name of that disguise is Friar Lodowick. Name of the second character is Angelo, who is a strict judge, but he is a hypocrite. Pakhandi hota hai, and his hypocrisy is exposed only towards the end of this play. We will discuss this one. Then we have the Isabel, who is a nun, and he is Claudio's sister. Another character is Claudio, who is Isabella's brother, who is imprisoned. Then we have a Juliet, who is Claudio's beloved. Then we have a Mariana, who is Angelo's beloved, whom Angelo refuses to marry. And at last, we have the last character, and that is Razomine, who is a pirate. Pirate, do you know? Sea robber, samundri lutera hota hai. And he has appearance like Claudio. Uski shakal Claudio se milti hai. So these are the important characters. Now, what is the plot line of this play? That Vincentio, he is a very good king. And actually, he wants to know about his subjects. अपनी प्रजा के बारे में जानना चाहता है. He wants to know the problems of his subject, though he is a good king. So he decides to disguise himself as a beggar. वो decide करता है कि मैं एक भिखारी का रूप धारण करके अपनी प्रजा में जाता हूँ, and I will try to find out their problems. So Vincentio, he tells Angelo that I am going for some days to a foreign country, so he should run the country. तेरे को देश चलाना है. Vincentio, however, he doesn't go anywhere. He takes the form of a beggar and he starts living in the among his subjects. अपनी प्रजा में रहने लग जाता है. Now Angelo, when he gets power, so he makes wrong use of power. And what is the wrong use of power? First of all, he asked the soldiers to arrest Claudio. So Claudio is arrested. Why Claudio is arrested? Because Claudio hasn't married Juliet in the proper manner. क्योंकि इटली की कोई परंपरा होती है शादी की. Claudio is very poor, so he is not able to perform all the rites of a marriage. कि शादी के वो सारे रस्में नहीं निभा पाता. Though Claudio marries Juliet, but he is not able to perform all the rites. So Angelo, he gets Claudio arrested. उसको arrest करवा देता है. उसको कहता है, you haven't performed the proper rituals, and that's why your marriage is not valid. And Claudio is arrested. Then Isabella, who is a nun, जो एक nun होती है, she comes to know that her brother's life is in danger. So she approaches Angelo. Angelo के पास आती है and ask Angelo to forgive Claudio. कहती है कि Claudio को माफ कर दो. Actually, he was very poor, and that's why he was not able to perform all the rites in the proper way. But Angelo is attracted by Isabella's beauty. He puts one condition. क्या शर्त रखता है? That Angelo puts one condition to Isabella, that Isabella should maintain physical relationship with him. Only then he will free her brother. But you know, Isabella is a nun, so she can't agree to this proposal. And then Isabella, she comes across Friar Lodovick. उसकी मुलाकात Friar Lodovick से हो जाती है, and she tells the complete story to Friar Lodovick. Now, Friar Lodovick is none other than the Duke of Vienna. So Friar Lodovick, he suggests Isabella a trick that is called bad trick. Isabella को एक trick बताता है, कहता है कि तू एंजेलो की कंडीशन से एग्री हो जा, लेकिन एक कंडीशन रखियो कि there will be complete darkness in the room, कि कमरे में अंधेरा होगा, ये शर्त रखियो. Now, Friar Lodovick means Vincentio, who is the Duke of Vienna. He knows that Mariana Am I audible? Okay. Now do you know, Mariana, she loves Angelo, but Angelo doesn't want to marry Mariana. And that's why Friar Lodovick, he Mariana to go in the room and to sleep with Angelo. Up there's a complete darkness, so Angelo, he doesn't realize that he is having physical relationship not with Isabella but with Mariana. So this is called bad trick. And what happens when Angelo, he achieves his desire, he refuses to free Claudio. Claudio को free करने से मना कर देता है. Rather, he gives order that Claudio's head should be brought to him, कि उसका सिर काट के मेरे सामने लेकर आओ. Now this is the second trick, and that is called head trick. What is the meaning of head trick? There is a prisoner. एक prisoner होता है, whose name is Razumine. Actually, he seems like Claudio, so he dies. वो मर जाता है, and that's why his head is cut, and it is brought to the Angelo के सामने वो लाया जाता है head. So meanwhile, the Vincencio, who is the king of Vienna, he comes back. वो वापस आ जाता है, and Isabella takes the case to Vincencio. उसके पास लेके जाती है कि this has happened with me. Angelo, he tried to blackmail me, and he put one condition and each and everything. Angelo denies. कहता no, I haven't done anything. Isabel says that I have a witness, and I have the witness of Friar Lodovic. So Vincencio, he tells Angelo कि आप थोड़ा समय के लिए इस सभा को संभालो, मैं अभी आ रहा हूँ. And Vincencio, he takes the form of Friar Lodovic, and he appears before Angelo. Angelo कहता I don't believe in a beggar. Then Friar Lodovic, he removes his disguise. वो अपना disguise अलग करता है, तो Angelo is surprised. Why? Because Friar Lodovic is none other than Vincencio. So in this ways, Angelo's hypocrisy is exposed, and he is punished. And what is the punishment? That Angelo is to marry Mariana. And secondly, Isabella, she falls in love with the Duke Vincencio. And that's why this play ends happily with the proposed marriage of Angelo and Mariana, Isabella and Vincencio. So this is the play Mazur for Mazur. Name of the next play, which is really very important, and that is The Tempest. The Tempest, do you know, sea storm? And The Tempest is William Shakespeare's last complete play. It was published in last complete and last published play of Shakespeare. It was published in 1611, and William Shakespeare was inspired to write this play when a shipwrecked sailor returned. Shipwrecked sailor, जानते हो, जिस sailor की जहाज दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हो गई थी, वो एक दिन वापस आ जाता है. So William Shakespeare is impressed by this story, and then he wrote the play The Tempest. What is the theme of The Tempest? The theme of this Tempest is forgiveness. And this play The Tempest also contains a mask. Mask, do you know? It is a type of literary form in which the characters, they wear mask. जिसमें character क्या डालते हैं? Mask डालते हैं. They come on the stage, they perform on the stage. So mask contains dancing, music, dance करते हैं, music करते हैं. That is called mask. And do you know who started mask in British literature? In British literature, mask were started by Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson बड़ा इसका famous writer है mask का. So this is called mask. Nowadays in Hindi movies and in the TV serials also you find a mask party, जिसमें जो characters हैं वो mask डालकर आते हैं, and then they dance in the party. That is called mask. So it also contains a mask. Mask is a type of a play. And in Tempest, there is a play within the play. As in Hamlet, we have the mouse trap. So similarly, in this play, The Tempest, we have a play within the play. And actually, through this play, the central character of this play, Prospero. Prospero is the central character. He has a daughter, Miranda. So through this play, Prospero, he teaches the lesson of morality to his daughter Miranda. तो अपनी बेटी मिरांडा को मोरालिटी का लेसन सिखाता है, चैस्टिटी का लेसन सिखाता है. Okay, that she should not involve in physical relationship before marriage. So Prospero, he teaches this lesson to his daughter Miranda. Now, Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley is one of the famous modern novelists. He took the title of his novel, Brave New World, from this play. You must remember. Now we will discuss the characters and the story in brief. Prospero, who is the central character of this play, he is the Duke of Milan. He has a daughter. The name of that daughter is Miranda. Next, we have a Caliban who is Prospero's slave. And we have a Ariel who is Prospero's slave spirit. एक हवा परी होती है जो उसकी प्रोस्पेरो की गुलाम होती है. Why? Because Prospero is a magician. वो एक जादूगर होता है. And that's why Caliban is his slave, and a spirit, air spirit, Ariel is also his slave. Do you know the character Ariel also comes in Alexander Pope's poem, The Rape of the Lock? Alexander Pope is one of the famous writers belonging to neoclassical age. So Alexander Pope has written a wonderful poem, The Rape of the Lock, and in which there's one character whose name is Ariel, air spirit. Then we have Antonio, who is Prospero's brother, and Antonio, he deceives his brother and dethrones his brother. Like, do you remember the play As You Like It? In As You Like It also, the younger brother Duke Frederick, he deceives his elder brother Duke Senior and seizes his kingdom. Similarly, in this play, Antonio, he deceives his brother Prospero and seizes his kingdom. And Prospero, along with Miranda, is exiled. उसको बाहर निकाल दिया जाता है. So Prospero, along with his daughter Miranda, he reaches an island. एक island पे पहुंचता है. Clear? He reaches an island. Next story हम आगे बताएंगे. Next character is Alonso, who is Antonio's friend. Then we have the Ferdinand, who is Alonso's son. Then we have a Gonzalo, who is Prospero's faithful servant. Actually, when Prospero is expelled by his brother Antonio, so then it is Gonzalo who helps Prospero, and you can say that he gives food and the magic books to Prospero. Then Prospero reaches on an island. Then we have a Trinculo, who is the clown. You must remember the different clowns in William Shakespeare's play. For example, in Twelfth Night, we have the Pest. In As You Like It, we have the Touchstone. Clear? And in King Lear, we have the Fool. And in the Tempest, we have the Trinculo. You must remember all these for clown. Next is Sebastian, who is Alonso's brother. And now Sebastian, he wants to deceive his brother Alonso, and he wants to seize his kingdom. And at last, we have the character Psychorex. Who is Psychorex? She is Caliban's mother. So when Prospero is deceived by his brother Antonio and he is expelled, so Prospero reaches an island. That island is occupied by a witch. एक चुड़ैल वहां पर शासन करती है, and the name of that witch is Psychorex. So Prospero, he kills the Psychorex, and Psychorex has a son whose name is Caliban. So Caliban becomes Prospero's slave, and Prospero is a magician, so he also enslaved one air spirit, हवा वाली परी को भी गुलाम बनाता है, whose name is Ariel. So in this way, Prospero starts living there along with his daughter Miranda, Caliban, and Ariel. Actually, when this play starts, so a ship is found on the sea. समुंदर पे हमें एक शिप दिखाई देती है. उस शिप में ये सारे कैरेक्टर होते हैं. कौन कौन से कैरेक्टर होते हैं? एंटोनियो, अलोंसो, फर्डिनेंड, ट्रिनकोलो, सेबेस्टियन, ये सारे कैरेक्टर उस शिप में होते हैं. एंड प्रोस्पेरो, he asked his spirit Ariel to produce the tempest. कहता है कि समुंदर में तूफान पैदा करो. And Ariel, he produces the storm, sea storm. And what happens? That their ship is wrecked. कि उनका जहाज दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हो जाता है. And they all reaches the island where Prospero lives. जहाँ पे Prospero रहता है, सारे वहीं आइलैंड पे पहुंच जाते हैं, लेकिन एक दूसरे से सेपरेट हो जाते हैं, अलग अलग हो जाते हैं. So Ferdinand, who is Alonso's son, he comes near Prospero's home. उसके घर के पास आता है. And Ferdinand, he falls in love with Miranda. And then Prospero, he tests their love. उनके लव को टेस्ट करता है, बड़े उनको हार्ड टेस्ट देके, ताकि समय आने पर वो चेंज ना हो. And what happens that there is a very lengthy story. I am going to cut this story in brief. And what happens that Antonio, he comes across his brother Prospero. Uski mulaqat wahan se hoti hai. Antonio, he realizes his mistake and he gets agreed to return back the kingdom of Milan to Prospero. वो कहता है कि मैं आपको आपका शासन देने के लिए ready हूँ. So in this way, all the characters, they come back to Milan. So in this way, there's a very happy ending, and the play ends with the proposed marriage of Miranda and Ferdinand. तो ये story है Tempest की, बड़ी brief में मैंने आपको बताई है. Now, actually, the Tempest is quite famous for its quotes. There are near about 4-5 quotes which are really very important. One is, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here." There's a wonderful quote by Ariel. Ariel says that all the devils of hell, they are living in this world. कहता है इस दुनिया में, कहता है hell तो सारा खाली होगा और जितने राक्षस थे वो धरती पे आ गए हैं. So according to Ariel, all the devils of hell, they are living in this world. So he criticizes human beings and he calls them devils. Second, "Full fathom 5, thy father lives. Of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes." So that is a song sung by Ariel to Ferdinand. फर्डिनेंड को ऐसे लगता है कि उसका जो फादर है वो मर गया है, वो डूब गया. तब वो एरियल he sings the song, "Full fathom 5, thy father lives." He tells Ferdinand that his father has got drowned and that's why his body is lying deep in the sea. कहते समुद्र में बहुत deep उसकी बॉडी पड़ी है और कहता है कि his body has been changed. His father's body has been changed and his father's bones, they have been converted into coral. तो उसकी जो bones है वो coral में change हो गई हैं and his eyes have been converted into pearls. So that is a wonderful, you can say that, speech by Ariel. That's a wonderful quote by Caliban. "You taught me language and my profit unto is, I know how to curse." That's a wonderful quotation from this. देखो, Caliban was an uncivilized person and a Britisher. He colonized that island. उस island को उसने गुलाम बनाया. As Britishers, they made India colony. जैसे अंग्रेज यहाँ पर आए, उन्होंने हमें गुलाम बना दिया, हमारे देश पे कब्जा कर लिया. Similarly, in this play, Prospero, he occupies that island. So that's why, do you know, Caliban, Prospero, he teaches Caliban language. And when Caliban, he learns English, so he starts abusing Prospero. He starts confronting Prospero. Prospero का सामना करने लग जाता है, उसको गालियां देने लग जाता है. तो ऐसा ही हमने क्या, जब अंग्रेज यहाँ पर आए, उन्होंने हमें इंग्लिश सिखाई, तो we were able to understand their strategy. We were able to understand their communication. हमें उनकी बातें समझ में आने लगी. And then there was a revolt. So that's a wonderful quote. Next is, "Oh wonder how many goodly creatures are there here. How beauteous mankind is, oh brave new world that had such people in it." That is a dialogue by Miranda. You all know that Miranda was living all alone with her father on an island. So she didn't see any human being. उसने कोई मनुष्य तो नहीं देखा था सिर्फ अपने फादर के अलावा. तो जब मिरांडा की जब फर्डिनेंड से मुलाकात होती है, तो उसको वो देखकर कहती है, क्या कहती है? "How many goodly creatures are there here?" Means in this world there are many beautiful persons. काफी सुंदर लोग हैं. कहते हैं ना, how beauteous mankind is. So she is quite surprised. She is quite impressed by Ferdinand's beauty, and looking at Ferdinand, she says that there are so many beautiful persons in this world. कहती है ना, "Oh brave new world that has such people in it." So these are the wonderful quotes in the Tempest you must remember. And one more quote, which is spoken by the clown Trinculo. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellow. Acquaints मैंने क्या होता है? Introduces. Misery, do you know? Bad time. So that's a wonderful quote. Trinculo says that when somebody is in problem, कहता जब कोई problem में होता ना कोई व्यक्ति, then he comes to know that who is his real relative and who is his real friend. कहता जब कोई दुख में होता है तब उसे पता चलता है कि वास्तव में उसका दोस्त कौन है और दुश्मन कौन है, उसका रिश्तेदार कौन है. Because at the time of you can say that misery, people come to know that who is their friend and who is their relatives. So that's a wonderful quote you must remember. Now the next romance is Paricus. So subtitle is The Prince of Tyre. And do you know the first folio of William Shakespeare's play was published in 1623. And you all know that William Shakespeare has written 37 plays. But in that volume, there were only 36 plays. One play, Paricus, was not included. So you must remember. And this play, Paricus, was based on the story Apollonius. So this play is based on the story Apollonius, and this story has been taken from John Gower's collection of stories, Confessio Amentis. John Gower, do you know? John Gower is one of the three most famous poets belonging to the 14th century. ये 14th century से belong करता है. Along with, do you know, John Gower had been Geoffrey Chaucer's contemporary. ये Geoffrey Chaucer's का contemporary था. Geoffrey Chaucer के time ये लिखता था. And he wrote the poem Confessio Amentis, and the story of this play has been taken from John Gower's poem. And in this play, Paricus, John Gower, he starts each act with a prologue. Prologue, do you know, introduction? And what is the story of this play? This play deals with a sad story of Paricus, his wife, Thesa, and his daughter, Marina. Actually, what happens in this play, that Paricus, he gets separated from his wife, Thesa, and his daughter, Marina. But towards the end of this play, they are united. अलग हो जाते हैं, एक दूसरे से युदा हो जाते हैं, and towards the end of this play, they are united. So that is a minor play of William Shakespeare, but you must remember something of this play also. Next is Cymbeline. That's another wonderful play written by another wonderful romance. Actually, William Shakespeare has written 4 romances. आपको याद रखना, he has written 4 romances: Paricus, Cymbeline, Winter's Tale, The Tempest. ये sequence भी याद रखना है. As you must remember the sequence of William Shakespeare's 4 great tragedies: Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth. Clear? So similarly, you must remember the sequence of 4 romances: Paricus, Cymbeline, Winter's Tale, and The Tempest. The Cymbeline is the name of the central character. So what is the theme of this play? Innocence and jealousy. Who are the characters? Cymbeline, who is the king of Britain, and he has a wonderful daughter. The name of that daughter is Imogen. So Imogen is Cymbeline's daughter, and she is Posthumus' wife. Posthumus is the name of the character. Uski patni hoti hai, and she is pure. She is innocent. Badi masoom hoti hai. And then we have a Posthumus, who is Imogen's husband, and Iachimo, who is the villain. The story of Cymbeline resembles the story of Othello. As in Othello, Iago, he creates suspicion in Othello's mind that his wife is having an illicit love affair with his friend Cassio, and then Othello, he murders his wife Desdemona. Story is almost similar. So here the villain is Iachimo instead of Iago. He creates suspicion in Posthumus' mind that his wife Imogen is having an illicit love affair with somebody. But later, but there is one difference between Othello and this play Cymbeline. But in this play, Posthumus, he doesn't murder his wife Imogen, but later he comes to know that his wife is pure. So that this play Cymbeline. The next play is The Winter's Tale. Again, the theme of this play is innocence and jealousy. And again, like the previous play, Cymbeline, in this play also there's one character whose name is Leontes. So Leontes, he suspects that his wife is having an illicit love affair with somebody. And that's why when his wife becomes pregnant and when his wife gives birth to a daughter, Perdita, so he refuses to accept that daughter. He thinks that this daughter doesn't belong to him. Rather, this is the daughter of the person with whom his wife is having an illicit love affair. So there are three important characters here. Leontes, who is the king of Sicilia. Then we have Polixenes, who is the king of Bohemia. And we have the third character, Hermione, who is Leontes' faithful wife. So Leontes, he thinks that his wife, Hermione, she is having a love affair with his friend. So Polixenes is his friend. And that's why when his wife becomes pregnant and gives birth to a daughter, so he refuses to accept his daughter. But later on, he comes to know that his wife is innocent. She is not having any illicit love affair. And towards the end of this play, Leontes, he accepts his wife and his daughter. So this is the next play, The Winter's Tale. Next is All Well That Ends Well. This is the next problem play. I have informed you that William Shakespeare has written 3 problem play. The first was a Measure for Measure. Second is All Well That Ends Well. And the third is Troilus and Cressida. That I will discuss later on. It is a problem play, and this play is set in France. And as in Measure for Measure, there were 2 tricks, and those 2 tricks were bad trick and head trick. Now, in this play, there are 2 conditions. One is the family ring, and second is the becoming pregnant. Now, we will discuss these 2 conditions. There are 3 or 4 important characters. First of all, we have the Helena, who is the heroine. Then we have a Bertram, who is the hero. And the third is Dinah, and she is the daughter of a widow. Now, what is the story? I want to discuss in brief. Helena, actually, she loves Bertram. And Helena, she is a physician. And when the king of France, he falls ill, so Helena cures him. Helena उसका इलाज करती है और उसको ठीक कर देती है. So the king of France is very happy, and he is very happy, and he asked Helena that what she wants, कि वो क्या चाहती है. Now Helena, as she loves Bertram, so she tells the king of France that she wants to marry Bertram. But Bertram, he doesn't like or he doesn't love Helena. So Helena is married to Bertram. So as Helena is married to Bertram, so Bertram leaves Helena and starts living in a different city. Now Bertram, he puts 2 conditions to Helena. Helena के सामने 2 conditions रखता है. Number 1, कहता है मैं तेरे को अपनी wife accept कर लूंगा. Number 1, if she gets his family ring, कहता है मैंने जो family ring डाली हुई है अगर तेरे को तू मेरे से वो ले लेती है. Number 1. Number 2, if she becomes pregnant by his child, so he will accept Helena as his wife. So Helena पीछे पीछे उसी city में चली जाती है, and there Helena comes to know that Bertram has fallen in love with a girl whose name is Dinah. So Helena Dinah से मिलती है और Bertram Dinah को कहता है to meet somewhere alone. So Dinah क्या कहती है, okay, I will meet you but in the dark, अंधेरे में मिलूंगी. The same for Measure. That was a called bad trick. So instead of Dinah, Helena goes there, and Bertram and Helena, they have the physical relationship. and as a result of that, Helena becomes pregnant, and she also gets Bertram's family ring. वो भी उससे ले लेती है. So in this way, Helena, she fulfills both the conditions of Bertram, and at last, towards the end of this play, Bertram, he accepts Helena as his wife. So that's this play, All Well That's End Well. Next play is The Two Gentlemen of Verona. Uh, it is William Shakespeare's earliest comedy, and it was the first play in which William Shakespeare used the element of disguise. Disguise meaning क्या होता है? रूप धारण करना. As I have narrated in this lecture, that in many plays, William Shakespeare uses this element of disguise. So it was the first play in which he, first of all, used the element of disguise. And in this play, Julia, the heroine, she disguises herself as a Sebastian. And the play ends with the marriage of two couples. There are two couples, two love affair are there. One is Proteus and Julia, and second is Valentine and Sylvia. So this play ends with the marriage of these two couples. So that's this play, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, which is not very important play of William Shakespeare. Next play is Love's Labour's Lost. It is a comedy. And what is the story of this play? I'm not going to talk about the story in detail because it is not so important play of William Shakespeare. Actually, in this play, the king and his three friends, they take a vow, एक सुगंध खाते हैं कि they will remain away from women for 3 years. कहते 3 साल के लिए हम औरतों से बिल्कुल कोई नाता नहीं रखेंगे, बिल्कुल अलग रहेंगे, सिंपल जीवन जिएंगे. But what happens that there comes 3 beautiful lady, मतलब कि 4 beautiful ladies वहां पर आ जाती हैं, and the king and his 3 friends, they fall in love with those 4 women. उन 4 लड़कियों के प्यार में पड़ जाते हैं. So in this way they forget their वो, अपनी जो सौगंध है वो भूल जाते हैं, and they try to please the 4 women. उनको खुश करने की कोशिश करते हैं उन 4 women को. But what happens towards the end of this play? The 4 women reply that they will have to wait for 1 year and 1 day to prove true love. वो 4 औरतें, किंग और उसके 4 फ्रेंड्स को क्या कहती है कि उन्हें 1 साल और 1 दिन वेट करना पड़ेगा अपना ट्रू लव express करने के लिए. So in this way, the labor of all the 4 person, the king and his 3 friends, goes waste. तभी टाइटल का नाम है Love's Labour's Lost. So they perform many actions in order to please the 4 women, but their labor goes waste. Next play is The Merry Wives of Windsor. Merry means the happy wives of Windsor. Windsor is the name of the place. It was published in 1602. And do you know, it is the only play of William Shakespeare in which William Shakespeare talks about contemporary middle class life. Contemporary means William Shakespeare talks about Elizabethan age. So it is the only play of William Shakespeare in which William Shakespeare talks about Elizabethan middle class life. And do you know, this is the second play of William Shakespeare in which William Shakespeare uses the character Falstaff. Falstaff, this character appears in William Shakespeare's British historical play Henry IV Part 2nd. So this is the second play in which William Shakespeare used the character Falstaff, because when Queen Elizabeth he watched the play Henry IV Part 2nd, so she was highly impressed by the character of Falstaff, and Queen Elizabeth, he asked William Shakespeare to write a play in which the central character should be Falstaff. And then William Shakespeare wrote the play The Merry Wives of Windsor. Actually, in this play, Falstaff, he is befooled. उसको बुद्धू बनाया जाता है किसके द्वारा? But two married women, and that is Ford and Pace. So these 2 women, they befool Sir John Falstaff. Now they play 3 tricks, 3 जोक्स इस पे खेलती हैं और इसको बड़ा पिटवाती हैं अपने हस्बैंड से. one is hidden in the clothes basket. So both actually the Sir John Falstaff hai, he falls in love with Ford, Mrs. Ford and Mrs. Pace. So Mrs. Ford and Mrs. Pace, they both invite Falstaff को invite करके अपने घर पर, but their husband come. Their husbands come. What happened? That they hide Falstaff in the clothes basket. उसमें hide कर देते हैं. फिर इसकी पिटाई करते हैं उसके husband. What is the second time? They again invite Falstaff to their house. So when Falstaff goes there, again their husbands come there, and now Falstaff, he takes the guise of, वो उसका रूप धारण कर लेता है किसका? Mrs. Ford's fat aunt. और मिसेस फोर्ड की जो फैट आंट है उसको मिस्टर फोर्ड लाइक नहीं करता, एंड अगेन मिस्टर फोर्ड बीट्स मिसेस फोर्ड्स आंट. एंड व्हाट इज द थर्ड ट्रिक? इन थर्ड टाइम he goes there, again their husbands come there, and this time he disguises himself as a hunter, Hearn, and then again they beat Sir John Falstaff. So it's a very funny play in which Sir John Falstaff is beaten repeatedly. So this is this play, The Merry Wives of Windsor. Next play is Taming of the Shrew. This is the next play written by William Shakespeare. And the central character of this play is Katharina, who is the Shrew. Shrew, do you know? A very clever lady. She's a very clever lady, and she is tamed by her husband Patricio. उसको वो control करता है. So that is the story of this play, that how Katharina, who is very shrew, how is she controlled by her husband? ठीक है? And later on she becomes an obedient wife. So this is the story, Taming of the Shrew. That's not very important. Next is Much Ado About Nothing. Ado, do you know? शोर शराबा, मतलब कि थोड़ी सी बात पे कहते हैं ना, बात का बतंगड़ बना देना, वो होता है much ado about nothing. So to create a lot of you can say that hustle and bustle over a trifle, थोड़ी सी बात पे बहुत शोर मचा देना. It is a comedy, and this comedy is set in Messina. And through this comedy, William Shakespeare, he talks about love affair between two pairs. One is Claudio, hero, first pair. Then we have the Benedict, Beatrice, who is the second pair. And do you know, Benedict and Beatrice, they are represented as best husband and best wife. ये क्वेश्चन आया था कि विलियम शेक्सपियर के प्ले में कौन सा जो पेयर है बेस्ट हस्बैंड और बेस्ट वाइफ को सिंबलाइज करता है. सो बेनेडिक्ट एंड बीट्रिस, दे सिंबलाइज बेस्ट हस्बैंड एंड बेस्ट वाइफ. Then there's another character, Don John, who is the villain. So I'm not going to in detail about the story of these plays, because these plays are minor plays. Next is Troilus and Cressida. It is problem play along with Measure for Measure and All Well That Ends Well. The setting of this play is the Trojan War. Trojan War, do you know? Trojan War was fought for Helen. Helen was the most beautiful lady. And for Helen, the Trojan War was fought between the Greeks and the Troys. And this war continued for 10 years. And at last, the Troys were defeated. Troy हार गए थे Greek से. So that is the setting of this play is Trojan War. There are two plots in this play. First plot is Troilus, Cressida, and Diomedes. And Diomedes. Actually, Troilus and Cressida, they both belong to Troy and they love each other. But do you know, Cressida is shifted to Greek camp. Greek camp में दी जाती है. And Cressida, she falls in love with Diomedes. So Cressida Troilus को बता के जाती है कि I will come back. But she doesn't come back. So this is the first story, that Cressida, she deceives Troilus. What is the second plot? The second plot is Hector's death at the hands of Achilles. Achilles was, you can say, one of the great heroes of Greek army. Greek army के महान योद्धाओं में से एक था Achilles. And actually, Achilles' friend Achilles refuses to take part in the Trojan War. वो कहता मैं युद्ध नहीं लड़ता. अब ग्रीक बड़े टेंशन में होते हैं कि अगर अकिलिस युद्ध नहीं लड़ेगा तो हम हार जाएंगे. So they want that Achilles should fight in the Trojan War. But what happens that Achilles, he takes part in the war when his friend, जब Achilles का friend होता है Patroclus, he is killed by Hector. Hector Troy army से belong करता है. So when Hector, he kills his friend Patroclus, then Achilles, he takes part in the Trojan War and he kills Hector, और वो Hector को मार देता है. These are the two plots in this play, Troilus and Cressida. Next play written by William Shakespeare is Timon of Athens. That is William Shakespeare's most complex play. And through this play, William Shakespeare, he talks about Timon's revenge over Athens. That Timon is humiliated, उसकी बेइज्जती की जाती है, and he is expelled from Athens. Athens से उसको निकाल दिया जाता है, and later on Timon, he takes revenge of his humiliation. तो ये स्टोरी है, ठीक है. तो ये विलियम शेक्सपियर के सारे प्ले मैंने आपके साथ डिस्कस कर दिए हैं. एंड नाउ वी विल टॉक अबाउट विलियम शेक्सपियर्स एपिटाफ. एपिटाफ, डू यू नो, समथिंग रिटन ऑन द ग्रेवयार्ड. कब्रिस्तान पे जो लिखा होता है, जो कब्र पे लिखा होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एपिटाफ. विलियम शेक्सपियर्स एपिटाफ इज क्वाइट पॉपुलर. And once there was a question on William Shakespeare's epitaph in Master Cadder. So there are so many epitaph. For example, John Keats' epitaph is "Here lies one whose name is writ in water." Khushwant Singh epitaph is "Here lies one who spared neither god nor man." So there are so many epitaph. So Shakespeare's epitaph is quite popular. You must remember these 4 lines. Good friend, for Jesus' sake, forbear. Forbear means tolerate. To dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spare these stones, and cursed be he that moves my mourns. Actually, during the Elizabethan age में क्या tradition चल रही थी कि there was shortage of graves. Graves की shortage हो गई थी, and that's why पहले जो लोग दफन थे graves में, उनकी बॉडी को निकाल दिया जाता था, एंड इंस्टेड ऑफ देयर बॉडी उनकी बोन रह जाती थी. तो उनकी बोन को बाहर निकाल के एक नई बॉडी उसमें ग्रेव में रख दी जाती थी. तो दैट वाज द ट्रेडिशन गोइंग ऑन ड्यूरिंग द एलिजाबेथन एज, एंड दैट्स व्हाई शेक्सपियर राइट्स एन एपिटाफ. वो क्या एपिटाफ लिखता है कि मेरी कब्र मत खोदना, मेरी हड्डियां बाहर मत निकालना. कहता जो मेरी कब्र को नहीं छुएगा वो तो ब्लेस्ड होगा, और जिसने मेरी कब्र को खोदा और मेरी हड्डियां को मूव किया, वहां से निकाला, उस पे श्राप पड़ेगा. तभी कहता ना, ब्लेस्ड बी द मैन दैट स्पेयर्स दिस बोन एंड कर्स्ड बी ही दैट मूव्स माय मोन्स. तो वो कहता है कि फॉर गॉड सेक, भगवान के लिए, डोंट डिग माय ग्रेव, मेरी कब्र को मत खोदना. एंड ही सेज दैट द मैन हु स्पेयर्स माय ग्रेव, जो मेरी कब्र को छोड़ देगा, that man will be blessed, but the person who digs my grave, he will be cursed. उस पे श्राप पड़ेगा. So that is William Shakespeare's epitaph. So एक और point है, the Dark Lady of the Sonnets. Actually, it is a short comedy which has been written by G.B. Shaw. You must remember. So that's all about William Shakespeare. So I hope that you will be able to understand this lecture. So if you want to watch more videos relating to English literature, linguistic, literary term research, methodology, so don't forget to download my app, Oxbridge English, from Play Store. And the link of this app is given in the description box. Thanks for watching the lecture.